Good evening and welcome to the Job Search Solution, the radio program where we talk about looking for a job, changing jobs, changing careers, hiring. And as always, we begin with a prayer. Dear God, grant us thy peace and thy mercy, thy will be done. Wanted to discuss an issue that has been an issue for the 50 years that I've been in this business. And I got an email from a lady the other day. She was looking for a job, and I told her she needed to come in and see us, which we do with every one of our candidates, and get to know them. And she wrote and she said, I don't want to come in because you'll find out how old I am. And I wrote her back and said, age has nothing to do with anything. I'm 73. It's got nothing to do with anything. It's your qualifications and your skills. She said, no, I know that there is discrimination out there. And if you interview me, you're going to find out how old I am. Well, I didn't press it too hard because if somebody's got that in their head, they got it in their head. And so it made me want to bring up the subject of discrimination. There is less discrimination than there has ever been. When I got in this business, it was not uncommon for employers or hiring authorities to tell us not to send certain types of people, age, race, whatever. We don't hear that very much anymore. Now, do people discriminate? Sure. In fact, all hiring is discriminatory. They discriminate on lots of things. Your experience, your background, the money you're making, your ability to do the job, everything's discrimination. Now, of course, you say, well, look, some of it is legal and some of it is not legal. And you're right. Some of it is and some of it isn't. Quite frankly, we don't pay much attention to it anymore. We send qualified candidates if they're qualified to do the job. And discrimination has changed a lot over the years. Years and years ago, when I first got in this business, it was not uncommon to hear, don't send us a woman or a minority or whatever. We hardly ever hear that anymore. People really don't care, especially in this market. They care about the ability to do the job. That's what they care about. And that's what they're most interested in. But quit being concerned about that. Especially something like you're going to find out how old I am. Well, yeah, anybody that interviews you is going to find out how old you are. They're going to find out whether you're a man or a woman, or you're short or you're tall or you're fat or you're skinny or you're whatever. They're going to find out when they interview you. Will that have anything to do with the job? Maybe, probably not. Most people get concerned about the discriminatory issues that they think they've got only because they think that's the reason they don't get hired. Most of the time, the vast majority of the time, they don't get hired primarily because they're not as qualified as other candidates might be. I hear it all the time. Well, I think they're discriminating on me against my age. I had a fellow tell me that the other day, and he's had 4 jobs in 4 years. That's probably the reason that they're discriminating. So get over it. The Eagles had a song, get over it, and move on. When I was single, and that was 51 years ago, 52 years ago, I tried to dance with women that wanted to dance with me. You don't want to dance with me, then I'll move on to somebody else. But quit getting all verklempt and all worried about being discriminated against. Go in and sell yourself. Now, if you're older, for instance, over 55, I wouldn't go into an interview talking about all of your medical ailments and all of the problems you've had and all of that kind of thing, because somebody might not want to hire you because of your being out a lot because of all of your medical ailments. But it doesn't have anything to do with your age. If you were 32 and going into an interview and complaining about all of your ailments, then the same thing would probably happen. So be smart and be thinking about that. People hire people based on their ability to do the job and based on whether they like you. Your age, your sex, your race, your whatever you think is a big deal isn't anywhere near as big a deal as you think it is. It's foremost on your mind because it is your deal. And so you have a tendency to think that. I placed a fellow in an inside sales position the other day, 65 years old. I think half of the staff over there, most of whom we placed, probably averages about 30. But they didn't care. They needed his skills and his background. And he went in and he sold himself better than 5 other candidates. So that's what you need to think about and quit worrying about the fact that they're going to discriminate. They're going to discriminate for some reasons, and whatever reasons they are, that's what they are. And you're not going to be able to do anything about it. And whether it's right or wrong, I have more candidates that feel like that they get discriminated against because they didn't communicate that they were capable of the job and have the ability to do the job than they are for anything else. If you can't communicate that you have the ability to do the job and you're the best person for the job, you probably won't get hired. Therefore, yes, you're discriminated against. But the legal stuff or the illegal stuff, forget it. Don't worry about it. Move on. If somebody's not going to hire you for whatever reason, they're not going to hire you. Leave it alone. Forget it. Drop it. Move on to the next situation. All right, we're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. This is Tony Bashir with the Job Search Solution.